Hello everyone and welcome to another video by Liminal Spaces. We went and saw Furiosa. We actually took the whole family, everybody that was visiting down here. We went and saw Furiosa in IMAX. And it was a very good time. We're going to talk about that today. Of course, this is more Jason's field, but I'll be jumping in and chiming in. So we'll start with the quick plot synopsis. This is your basic revenge movie. The beginning of it follows kind of a sword and sorcery concept, although this is post-apocalyptic, of course. It even has kind of a wizard guy in it.
Yeah,
A history keeper.
History man.
Yeah, he tattoos dictionaries on his body, and then when anybody needs a word defined, he defines the word, which created all kinds of humor throughout the movie that was really fun. But anyway, you've got a typical child of the wasteland that is wronged and is dedicating her life to seeking vengeance for the wrong that was done to her.
And anytime you see a movie like this, you always think to yourself, make sure to kill the kid. But they don't kill the kid.
Yeah,
they don't kill the kid.
Yeah.
The kid lives and you're in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, how could they not see it coming?
Right.
You're that much of an asshole to people. You might want to make sure there's no vengeance survivors.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So that's the basic plot of the movie. We're not going to really give much away. If there's any big spoilers, if we come to a point where we have to talk about spoilers, we'll warn you.
We will.
But yeah, overall, we just kind of want to talk about the characters in this film and, of course, the actors and how it was to watch. But the first question I have for you is, do you think this needed to be in IMAX?
So that's a tough one. And yeah, we need to pause for a minute because we need to find out how
I'll
he
look it
filmed
up.
this thing.
Yeah.
So this film wasn't filmed in IMAX.
Okay.
So when you see when they change the aspect ratio, I believe that when we get the 4K DVD or Blu-ray eventually, we're going to actually see more on the sides. I believe they cropped the sides to put it on the massive screen. I don't think it was filmed square. It's not really square, but close. I don't think they filmed it square, and then when they release the Blu-ray, they're going to cut the top and the bottom off, like Dune.
Yeah, so this is the exact opposite of Dune.
Right.
Dune going to IMAX gave you more film.
Yes.
Furiosa going to IMAX gives you less film.
I think that is true.
Interesting.
Also, I think that zooming in that much, for me personally, sort of highlighted the computer effects in the film. Now, of course, all these, Fury Road and Furiosa, both have a ton of computer effects. Of course they do. They want to be safe, you don't want to be killing people off. And they do fun little things, like there's a skull with a fly on it, and then a lizard comes out, eats the fly, and then a car rolls over the skull, right? That's all computer effects. And seeing it in IMAX, because they had to zoom in and make it so much larger, I think it really emphasized that fact, and they kind of stuck out for me.
It's funny because first off, we have to be careful. I have no idea how much of the car stuff was practical effects in this movie.
I think
so
it's famous for
doing
not
crazy
being,
stuff.
That's right. There's crazy stunts in here.
Yeah, but I don't know how much of it is CG. That skull part that you're specifically talking about did stick out.
Yeah.
And we know what stuck out to me was the Foley artist. Like when that's the swallow sound that thing did with the bug sounded like somebody just put a microphone up against somebody's throat and swallowed. It was crazy. But anyway, we're nitpicking. I was really surprised watching this how many times I saw people on motorcycles try to get up hills and fall over. Because
it's like the Widowmaker.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know what look it up on YouTube. It's a great time.
Yeah, make sure you're watching motorcycles trying to go up a hill.
Yeah.
That's Widowmaker.
Yeah. Yeah, they put shovels on the tires. Sorry, this is a Utah thing. It's probably all over the world, but
I
I know it
imagine
from
so.
Utah. But anyway, I think that they did just do a lot of filming of people driving badass cars, which I really, and motorcycles, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, I think we need to say right from the get-go, this is a really excellent film.
Yeah.
All of us had a
Oh man.
blast. It was so fun. It's amazing to see Furiosa again. Such an amazing character. And it's amazing to see kind of her origin and her journey. This is truly wonderful.
And the scene with the flyers is
Right.
worth admission alone.
Right.
That was so fun.
Right.
The action. If you're into watching cars go and people fight on cars, yeah, there's a lot of it in this.
Yeah, but I do
Maybe
want
not
to
enough
say,
for you.
right, if you're a huge Mad Max fan, if you're a huge fan of the previous films, I'm not positive. We're going to nitpick a little bit because I don't feel like this is really kind of the same as some of those other films, the really successful ones. And we're going to talk about that kind of stuff, but I want to make it clear from the beginning it's an excellent film, totally worth seeing.
Yeah.
The characters are super cool.
I can't decide if you should see it in IMAX or the regular. I guess I'd say regular.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate to say it. I don't think IMAX is really worth it for this movie.
I thought we were done with Pan and Scan and Letterbox and Cut, but it's weird that IMAX is bringing us right back there.
And I know that that's the only way those theaters can stay alive. We saw this, and I know it's been out for a week now, but when we saw it, there was,
Yeah.
our group was over half the people in the theater.
Yeah.
Nobody was there.
Yeah.
You know, I think theaters are having trouble, and I think they feel like IMAX is their solution. And I hate to say it with the different aspect ratio.
If you have to cut the movie, it's not the solution.
No, not at all.
If you have to squish it, that's
and if you have to get complaints when the physical media comes out because they cut the movie. You know what I mean? They're just doing it wrong. Yeah, we want to see it bigger, but it should be the same aspect ratio as your TV.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think IMAX originally was the same aspect ratio of your TV.
Way back in the day.
Yeah, but times have changed.
Yeah.
Get yourself a widescreen IMAX. You know, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
That aspect ratio is more appealing. It's what people want to watch. They don't want square.
I watched Dune in both, and I find that I'm a little bit leery of buying the Dune 4K
Right.
because I didn't like how it cut off the chins and the heads of all the actors, and it cut off the horizon and all the shots of the desert.
Right.
And I liked the horizon. It opened up the movie, and I feel like I'm missing a part of the movie if I don't get it. Anyway, we're going on and on about IMAX.
Yeah.
Actors in this film.
Yeah, okay, so we got Anna Taylor-Joy, who did a great job.
Started with The Witch. First time I saw her. Love The Witch. I loved The Queen's Gambit, and I think she killed it in this one.
Yeah.
She do good?
Yep, she did a great job.
Okay.
Yeah, all the actors in this film were excellent. Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah,
was
Thor, a different Thor.
Right. And he had a prosthetic nose, which I think he needed to do so that people weren't instantly like, oh, Chris Hemsworth. You know?
Jared said he didn't even know it was Chris Hemsworth for the first half of the movie.
Yeah. He did a great job. He's trying to be Australian. So, Mad Max, this is where I'm going to do one of these for just a second. Mad Max is known for its quirkiness and its quirky characters. It is very Australian, and it's such a neat, fun culture. And like in Mad Max, there's the guy who gets his throat cut right in the beginning because they're trying to stop the Knight Rider before the Interceptor comes in, before Mad Max comes in. And then throughout the film, the only way he can talk is if he has this machine that he puts up, right? Which is super quirky, super weird. It's kind of scary, and it's really just well done. And I do not feel like, even though he was doing his quirky best, I do not feel like he replaced all of the quirkiness that it originally had.
I think he remembers these movies much better than I. So if I think about the quirks they tried to give him...
He was super quirky, right? I mean,
well, they gave him a weird cloak. He always wore like this weird balloon thing.
Yeah, he had crazy costumes
that I didn't understand. And then he carried around this teddy bear.
Right.
The last thing you'd expect to see on this badass wasteland warrior, right? Mm-hmm. Is he had all these chains and then like a teddy bear. So I think, I guess they tried to do the quirk.
Yeah.
I don't know if my expectations were as high for quirkiness.
Well, it's like the guitar player with the flames shooting out the end.
Right.
And they'd show him for a split second.
At the end, right?
Well, he's at the end, but I think literally in the film there's a point where a bunch of vehicles are pulling out and you can see a little guy. But they just don't...
That's like one of the only things I remember from the Fury Road. It's been a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, like they took the quirkiness out. And they tried to put it all on Chris Hemsworth, and I don't know that he could handle it, you know? And he didn't do a bad job. Once again, I want to make it very clear.
To me, it seemed like he was having a riot.
Yeah.
Playing a different role.
He absolutely was, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was having a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't notice as much, but I don't know the franchise as well as you do.
Right.
What... You're talking about the guy with the thing.
Right.
And so it has the same bad guy.
So, yes, there's a person named Hugh Keys Byrne, and I'm mispronouncing that. I apologize. And he's in Mad Max. He plays the leader of the motorcycle gang. And then, of course, he was in Fury Road. He plays the guy with the crazy mask.
The white
main
hair.
bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he passed away.
And Morton.
Yeah, so he wasn't able to be in this new film. The character is still in the film. And I don't think they could have used the same actor for the character simply because this takes place in the past. So they really kind of did need somebody younger. But still, I did just want to point out it's kind of sad that he wasn't able to be in this film as well.
So do you think he had the quirkiness?
Oh, yeah. They're so
Fury
Australian.
Road?
Yes, with the mask and then the speeches that he would give. There is a very specific culture to Mad Max that this film wasn't as obsessed with. Another amazing part, and I think this is where to bring it up. You got the War Boys, right? All these people who are from the wasteland and who are dedicated to getting to Valhalla. And there's this great part where in Fury Road, there's a huge storm, and they go driving into the storm, which they know is suicide.
Right.
She's just trying to escape. She's got everybody with her. They're trying to escape, and her only salvation is this massive storm. So they veer into the storm, and there are parts where these boonduggies, where these dune buggies, where these dune buggies are getting picked up by the storm and getting blown away.
Because dune buggies are pretty light.
Right. They're heavier than motorcycles, but they're pretty light.
Right.
Yeah. So they're getting picked up. They're exploding in midair, and you have this war boy who is in awe of the beauty of the entire experience. This very childlike, philosophical moment that just doesn't exist in the current film. Okay. And they try. There are speeches all through this movie. There are huge monologues where people are discussing, especially the end, between Chris Hemsworth and...
See, that's the part I didn't care much for, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
I don't think I was as hard on the movie as Jason was.
Right.
But just because I don't remember all the things.
Yeah.
Because I felt like... Well, I'm going to give an example. So, Jason's talking about a scene in Fury Road. There's a scene in this where Furiosa has managed to get a stick of dynamite, and she lights it to throw on to the bad guy's car, and one of these war boys
on the same side.
Yeah, same side as her.
Yeah.
Like she's about to solve a problem without death.
Right.
And this war boy reaches down, grabs this dynamite, jumps up, yells, "Witness me," and jumps with the dynamite onto the bad guy's car, then blows it up and blows it over the top of the semi.
Brilliant.
I feel like
Brilliant.
it's there.
Yes.
I guess it's just not hitting as hard for
Right.
you.
And there's not enough of it.
Okay.
That is the truth. Yeah.
Oh, you wanted
absolutely.
more stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, anytime you see a Mad Max movie, I feel like it's pretty rare that you're going to walk out and say there was plenty of car battles in that movie. You know what I
Okay,
mean? You
okay.
always want a little more car battles, but in this one, I think I wanted a lot more car battles.
Oh,
To
interesting.
be perfectly honest, because you've got the sniper rifle,
Yeah.
which is a whole different thing. You know,
Didn't
that's
Max have a rifle in Road Warrior? I don't remember
no,
these
I
very well.
don't. I don't.
I thought he had a long gun and a short gun.
So
I don't remember
it
very
is
well.
it is possible, but not as a problem solver in the film.
I see. Okay.
He wasn't a sniper who was picking off people.
Right.
He was an interceptor. He was in his car.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And there's definitely scenes where they are looking at the gas plant from the hill through some kind of binoculars or
Yeah.
something. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not picking off people as
Right.
a sniper.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There was a lot of sniper stuff. in
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
A lot.
I mean, there's different kinds of warfare in this film. I mean, there's this huge battle that they're building to, and then the narrator comes in and says, and then there's the 40-day war, and you don't see anything.
Uh-huh.
You know, and there's the celebration scene in Road Warrior where you've got all these really cool cuts, which I really love when the director does this. I think it's specific to him.
Okay. George Miller.
Yeah, you got people spinning fire, and there's the crazy music playing, and they're cutting around between
What does
all
a
these
party at the end of the world
yeah,
look like?
yeah. And it's this little sequence of the party. And they didn't even really do that for
Yeah,
the
I
40
think when they said the 40-year war, all we saw was a storm and cars kind of driving through
Yeah.
the dust.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and I gotta say again, this is not a bad movie. I'm not. I'm talking about how Mad Max this movie is, as opposed to whether this movie's good or not. This is a very good movie. You should see it, and the characters are amazing. But
So this movie was plot heavy.
right,
And that might be
Right.
what bugged you.
yeah. And it doesn't bug me because I hate plot heavy movies.
Right.
It bugs me because it's a Mad Max
We just
movie.
did Stalker.
Right.
Well, actually, I don't know if that is a plot heavy movie.
That's true too. Yeah. But this movie was closer to Stalker, I feel like, than it was to Mad Max, only in the sense that it was trying to be very deep and a little bit intellectual, and I think that was just a slight contradiction for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and so we're going to talk a little bit about there's a lot of torture in this movie. Was it ever too much for you? Because I don't remember the old movies. It never hit too much for
No,
me. It
and-
felt like Mad Max shit.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
and I want to make it clear there is a lot of horrible things that happen in Mad Max movies. They literally strap people to the front of their cars
Yeah.
to be bumpers.
Yeah.
But those sequences are very short.
Okay.
They don't dwell on them. And this film started dwelling on things and
I
started
think that's a revenge movie thing.
right.
I think it
right,
is.
Right. It feels different.
They have to make us feel the pain of
Sure.
the character,
Right.
so that we know why this rampage happens, right?
Yeah, and the rampage is her talking to him for 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. I got to agree.
know?
I didn't. The last monologue did not do it for me. In fact, I don't know if I said this to you or Dana. I'm going to do a quick plot spoiler here. This isn't huge. This is a tiny plot spoiler. So if you're very picky about plot spoilers, give me about 2 minutes. Skip the video ahead. One of the things that I noticed right off the bat was that Furiosa didn't didn't talk for like 80% of this movie. And then for the last 20% of it, she was talking. For me, that reveal didn't mean anything. Nothing she said was highly necessary to the point of making her talk. If you establish this character doesn't talk, I didn't see any reason for him to. The whole end where she's like having this huge monologue with the character she's trying to get revenge on. I think that the scene would have played better with the person she's trying to get revenge on just babbling the entire time and trying to understand what she wants without her, because she's messing with him psychologically. Not talking was a cooler way to mess with him than suddenly she just starts becoming angry and yelling. It didn't have the same impact. And I think his babbling at the end could have been incredible if he was trying to figure out what the hell she wanted, and she didn't talk.
Which really is Mad Max.
Yeah.
That scene at the end of Mad Max when he's got the guy chained to the car, which is a very short scene. I think it's 3 lines.
Yeah.
And then he just walks away and the guy's yelling.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they shifted gears for this. They did this differently. And as a Mad Max fan, I'm not positive that I enjoyed that shift so much. But it's really cool to know that he can make different kinds of movies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with this movie.
And again, we were super entertained the entire time.
Yeah.
It sounds
the
like
whole family loved it. Everybody
Yeah.
was laughing and just having a blast.
Yeah, it sounds like you wanted more car stuff.
Yeah, always.
And more quirkiness.
Yes, more Mad Max.
Okay. Yeah.
And the cool thing is the character of Mad Max is in the movie.
Yeah.
It's only for a tiny second.
But it's an iconic moment.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I wasn't sure why it resolved the way it did, because we've had sequences where people are saved and they're brought back to a camp in order to be brought back to life, basically. We've had those sequences before, and that didn't happen in this. Again, we didn't have the cut scenes and the waking up, and then I don't know.
Could be that the director, number one, chose a revenge movie.
Right.
That has specific expectations that are going to change what you're used to in Mad Max.
Yeah.
Number two, I think he was really obsessed with this specific character and wanted to really get serious about the backstory of this specific character.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something about the ending, but I'm not going to spoil. The ending seems over the top, specifically her revenge, but I really liked it because I feel like it ended in allegory, and it felt to me to be the most fairy tale style ending, the most fairy tale style punishment that I've seen in a long time in a movie. It harkens back to these old grim fairy tales and how they'd punish the bad guys in such a unique, weird way. And at first I was like, what the hell? But the more I looked at it, the more I was like, that is incredible. What a wild, crazy, over the top. In fact, that's a pretty Mad Max ending, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing about it was History Man who was telling us, and History Man gave literally, I think, 4 different endings.
Yeah.
Like he's like, people have said this, people have said this. The ending that we showed, most people probably won't like.
Yeah.
But she whispered this to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very...
It's about telling fairy tales. It's about telling tales.
Yeah.
In the end, I highly recommend it. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm not as familiar. I mean, I've seen them all, but it's been forever. All I remember from the first one is that he's the only one with a V8.
Yes. The Interceptor.
Yeah. I think it was... I had a great time. Absolutely did.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, it's tough. I I would say know that you're not going to see Fury Road. You can watch Fury Road right before you go. I recommend it. It's obviously
That's what I
excellent
should have
film.
done.
Watch it right before you go, but know that you're not going to see that thing again. You're seeing something different that leads to that.
Yeah, you need the beginning of the story. You don't need it.
Right.
Fury Road stands on its own.
Yes.
But I do want to say that, is his name George Miller?
Oh, the director.
I think it's George Miller. George Miller initially planned to film these back to back. It was his goal to tell this entire story back to back, and then the movie Furiosa got into some kind of production hell. For a while, they were even talking about making this as an anime, and then eventually they were able to get the movie made. So in George Miller's, I hope, George Miller feels like these two tales go together. And I believe personally that this first film is all the dark moment. Revenge is always dark moment stuff for me because, of course, once you're done with vengeance, what's left? Conan was just talking about that. Conan the Destroyer, the James Earl Jones is talking about when you destroy me, like I'm more your dad than your dad ever was, because when you destroy me, what's left for you? What's left of your life? And this is a similar concept. Once Furiosa gets her revenge, then what? Well, the then what is Fury Road. She just finds another cause and goes and kicks butt, and that might be more fun to watch than the sad vengeance story. So I feel like together they make a more complete, enjoyable story. Although Fury Road still kicks ass on its own, and you would say is better. Than that one.
I do, and I think we can already tell. I think that Fury Road took America by storm.
Oh my God, those people spraying cake spray and saying, "Witness me."
I mean, on Alexa, you can literally say, "Alexa, witness me," and she will go into the spiel.
Try it.
I mean, yeah, it's part of our culture, but this film is not the same. It's not bad. It's just not the same. And I do believe that that's kind of reflected in its success as well. I think that it will not take America by storm. It'll just be a piece of Fury Road.
Of Mad Max, yeah.
Of Mad Max, yeah. I'd put it up there with Thunderdome myself.
Thunderdome for me was the coolest one because I was the exact right age. It depends on how old you are. And unfortunately, I was the right age for Return of the Jedi, Temple of Doom, and Thunderdome, which are all the ones that of course, were the kind of squishy PG death of a lot of great. I don't know if Thunderdome fits into that category. But definitely Return of the Jedi and Temple of Doom. Yeah. So, go check it out. See what you think. All right.
Yeah.
If you want to do it?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe. We got a bunch coming in the future. And, of course, we have a bunch in the past. And click the bell if you want to make sure you get notified when we put up new stuff, because we do put up a lot of new stuff.
We do.
It's easy to miss stuff. And thank you so much for watching.